What would you say the top three cryptos are right now if we look at where attention is focused?
The texts that I have gotten have either been about how to invest in Bitcoin or how to invest in stablecoins. That is the questions I have gotten from outside.
Hey there, future millionaires, and welcome back to another exciting episode on our channel. Today, we're diving deep into XRP, and I genuinely hope each and every one of you is having an absolutely fantastic day, no matter where you're tuning in from around this amazing planet of ours. Now, let's talk about something incredible. If you're still holding your crypto after everything we've been through, you deserve a standing ovation. Think about this for a second. We survived the COVID crash. That was $1.2 billion wiped out in liquidations. Then came the FTX disaster, another $1.6 billion gone in a flash. But this latest crash? Hold on to your seats because we're talking about a mind-blowing $19.16 billion in liquidations. Can you believe that? This is officially the biggest liquidation event in crypto history. And get this, it's almost 20 times bigger than that infamous COVID crash back in March 2020. So here's what I want you to remember. If you've held strong through all of this chaos, through all these storms, you've proven something extraordinary. You've got what it takes to reach that finish line. You can literally make it through anything this market throws at you. Let's keep pushing forward together. So listen up, if you've made it through this absolutely massive crash, you're already winning. And here's where it gets really interesting. I'm calling it now. In just a few days, we're probably going to see Trump posting something like, "Just had an amazing call with the president of China. Our relationship has never been stronger. We've struck a fantastic deal, and guess what? Tariffs are canceled." When that happens, markets are going to absolutely explode to new all-time highs. So please, urgent, stop panicking right now. Quarter 4 is setting up to be incredibly bullish, and I'm betting this announcement drops on Tuesday. Here's why the timing makes sense. We're heading into a holiday weekend here in the States. Monday is Columbus Day, and honestly, it was pretty odd timing for Trump to bring up tariffs on a Friday afternoon right before a long weekend. You know what that tells me? The news might actually drop sooner than we think. They could announce these tariff cancellations at any moment, and when they do, this entire market could flip on a dime. We're talking about a complete reversal that could happen faster than you can blink. So stay ready, stay alert, and most importantly, stay calm. The turnaround could literally be just hours away. All right, let's talk about something super important. The top performing crypto sectors and what's coming next when Wall Street fully takes the wheel. Here's what's happening. Once Wall Street completely takes over the crypto space, they're going to package and sell crypto to an entirely new retail audience. And get this, they'll market it just like they do with traditional stocks. It's going to be a game changer. Now, check out these fascinating numbers from September 2025's top-performing crypto sectors. Leading the pack? Exchanges. Absolutely crushing it with a 15.33% gain. Then we've got currencies coming in second at 4.89%, followed by meme coins holding their ground at 3.17%. Stablecoins? Pretty much flat at 0.02%. Everything else? Unfortunately sitting in the red. But here's where it gets really interesting. And pay attention to this. I'm seeing the future, and it's banks becoming the new crypto exchanges. Think about it. As traditional banks keep warming up to crypto and embracing this technology, what's their next logical move? They're going to start offering crypto investments right there in your local bank branch. Why? Because they're watching all this money being made in the crypto exchange space, and they want their piece of the pie. Can you imagine walking into your bank and buying Bitcoin alongside your regular banking? That future is closer than you think, and when it happens, it's going to open the floodgates to millions of new investors. Okay, so something really interesting was making the rounds during the crash, and wow, people were getting heated about this. Remember Bill Clinton speaking at Ripple Swell back in 2018? He was right there on stage with Brad Garlinghouse. And here's the wild part. When I said we were going to see a repeat of trickle-down economics, people literally thought I'd lost my mind. But guess what? That's exactly what Bill Clinton was talking about back then. I remember this like it was yesterday. It was the hot topic everyone was discussing. And when I saw Clinton at that Ripple event, it hit me like a lightning bolt. I thought to myself, this absolutely confirms it. Ripple is positioning itself as a major player in our financial future. Now here's what's really fascinating about 2018. Trump was president at the time, and behind closed doors, there were already serious conversations happening about creating a digital dollar. And you know what else? Ripple was deeply involved in a lot of that behind-the-scenes work even back then. Look, I don't see this as just some random event from Ripple's past. This was a pivotal moment in their history. But I've got to say, bringing this up and circulating it during an XRP crash, that felt like a pretty cheap shot. The timing just seemed deliberately provocative, you know? Like someone was trying to stir the pot when people were already stressed about their investments. Not cool, in my opinion.
And this guy is Exhibit A, so you're very fortunate to have him, because people thought I had lost my mind when I said we were going to repeal trickle-down economics, go back to old-fashioned investment policy, investment budgeting, and try to balance the budget and keep interest rates down and grow the economy. And I couldn't have done it if it hadn't been for Gene Sperling. And there are several people like him without whom I would have been an abject failure as president. So if you run a company, even if you just got 4 or 5 employees, the chances are there are several people like that that work for you. Don't miss the chance to tell them every now and then, because that also is a part of positive sum growth, non-zero sum growth. I love this guy. And he nearly worked himself to death. I'm glad he survived to have a family and a life where he makes a lot more money with a lot less stress.
Well, that was fantastic. Thank you, President Clinton. Thank you, Gene Sperling. I learned a few things there, not the least of which is how to shake hands without...
Ripple attracts new institutional investor amid push for blockchain expansion. This also happened during the crash as well, so nobody even talked about it. All right, this is huge news that perfectly shows how Wall Street is getting serious about blockchain innovation. So check this out. C1 Fund, which is a cryptocurrency-focused investment firm that's actually listed on the New York Stock Exchange, has just quietly scooped up shares in Ripple Labs. And here's the key detail. They didn't buy XRP tokens, they bought actual RIPPLESHARES, the company behind the XRP payment network. Now, why is this such a big deal? Because it shows you just how incredibly strong Ripple is as a company. Think about this for a second. When you look at the entire crypto landscape, it's impossible to ignore how massive Ripple is becoming. Let me break down everything they're doing right now. First, look at all their strategic acquisitions. Then consider all the brilliant pivots they've made. They're into custody services, they're pioneering tokenization, and yes, they're still dominating cross-border payments. But that's not even close to everything. Their main focus now? They're going after the derivatives market, and that's a $1 trillion opportunity. But wait, there's more. Ripple is also positioning itself to potentially become a bank. Can you imagine that transformation? And here's the cherry on top. That IPO we've been talking about for 2026, it's still very much on the table. Plus, we've got ISO standards going live, which is going to be a complete game changer for institutional adoption. When you put all these pieces together, you start to see why Wall Street firms are quietly loading up on Ripple shares. They see what's coming, and they want in before everyone else catches on. And guys, there is so much incredible stuff lining up for XRP right now. It's actually mind-blowing when you think about it all. I'm also predicting that Ripple is going to go on an acquisition spree. They're not done yet, not even close. I think we're going to see them snapping up even more companies as they continue to expand their empire. Now, this is really important. Tom Brun, who's the head of markets at Stockwits, just dropped some serious knowledge. He specifically said that Ethereum and XRP are the 2 altcoins that retail investors are watching like hawks right now. Let me play this clip for you because you need to hear this directly from him. This is huge validation for what we've been talking about. Take a listen.
What would you say the top 3 cryptos are right now if we look at where attention is focused?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, Bitcoin, I think regardless of how it's performing relative to altcoins, it will always be a core portion of people's portfolios. It just might shrink over time. Like I said, Ethereum and Ripple are 2 of the altcoins that, people are watching for that confirmation of a new breath of momentum coming into this market. And then
So here's what I want you to really think about. When retail investors come flooding back into this space and that FOMO kicks into overdrive, Where do you think all that money is going to flow? I'll tell you exactly where I think it's headed, and this is important. I believe way more of that retail money is going to pour into XRP than into Ethereum. Why? Let me break this down for you in simple terms. Ethereum is expensive, right? When someone new comes into crypto with, let's say, $1,000, they can only grab a fraction of 1 ETH. But with XRP, they can scoop up a decent-sized bag and actually feel like they own something substantial. Here's the psychology behind it. People love getting a good amount of tokens for their money. It just feels better psychologically to own 1,000 of something rather than 0.3 of something, even if the dollar value is the same. And when we're heading into alt season, when everyone knows a massive run-up is about to happen, what do retail investors want? They want to maximize their position size. They're thinking, if this thing goes 10 times, I want to have as many tokens as possible. That's exactly why I'm convinced that when the retail FOMO tsunami hits, the majority of that fresh money is still going to flood straight into XRP. It's just human nature, and it's been the pattern we've seen time and time again.
All right, here's another massive catalyst we need to talk about. The Fed is going to cut rates at the end of this month, and when that happens, markets are going to absolutely explode. This is one of those big moments we've all been waiting for, and let me tell you why this is such a game changer for crypto. When the Fed cuts rates, it's like pouring rocket fuel on the market. We're going to see things take off so fast, your head's going to spin. Now let's talk about Powell for a second. You know what's interesting? He could have been cutting rates all along. We've been in a position where cuts made sense for months now, but I think he's been strategically holding off, waiting for exactly the right moment to pull the trigger. And guess what? I'm fully expecting that rate cut to drop at the end of October. Mark my calendar. Circle that date because I'm telling you right now, this could be the catalyst that really gets this party started. Think about it. Lower rates mean more liquidity in the system, cheaper money flowing around. And where does a lot of that money historically go? Straight into risk assets like crypto. This isn't just wishful thinking, folks. This is how markets work, and we're positioned perfectly to take advantage of it. When Powell makes that announcement, you better be ready because things are going to move fast.
Let's talk about something that's going to blow your mind. A parabolic rally. And before you say, that's just a dream, hold up. Just ask anyone who was holding BNB during its legendary run. Now, I know XRP has cooled off a bit after its recent explosive move, but here's what's absolutely fascinating. It's mirroring the exact same structure that led to BNB's face-melting rally. Do you see what I'm seeing here? The setup is almost identical. So please, whatever you do, don't get shaken out. $4.50? That's not just possible, it's inevitable. But honestly, I think $4.50 is going to be just a quick pit stop, a blink and you'll miss it moment on XRP's journey upward. Because in my opinion, and I'm being completely serious here, XRP is heading way higher than $10. Now think about this, and this is crucial. We've got a ton of institutional money about to flood into this space. And here's the kicker. These institutions, they're already looking beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're hunting for the next big opportunity. You know these big firms have entire teams, probably some brilliant crypto analyst whose only job is researching digital assets all day long. They're asking, what's the best cryptocurrency for our portfolio? What's the smartest ETF play? You really think these guys don't know what XRP is built to do? Come on, they've done their homework. They understand the technology, the partnerships, the real-world utility. They see exactly what we see, and that's why smart money is quietly positioning itself right now.
You know what? Absolutely they do. And here's something really interesting I've noticed. When people reach out to me about crypto, most of them don't really ask about other assets, unless it's XRP. It's incredible. And you know what everyone keeps saying? They tell me the XRP Army is so incredibly loud and passionate that you literally cannot ignore them even if you tried. And let me just say this. I'm telling you, the XRP Army is absolutely phenomenal. We're talking about one of the most dedicated, informed, and active communities in all of crypto. Here's what I love most about this community. Whenever any FUD pops up around XRP, and I mean any negative narrative or misinformation, the XRP Army mobilizes like a well-oiled machine. We make absolutely sure that every single piece of FUD is addressed head-on with facts, data, and receipts. We don't let false narratives slide. We don't let misinformation spread. We're out there fighting the good fight every single day, making sure the truth about XRP gets heard. This is the power of community, folks. When you've got an army of passionate believers who understand the technology and the vision, that's when you know you're part of something special. Let me play this clip for you because this perfectly captures what I'm talking about. Listen to this.
The texts that I have gotten have either been about how to invest in Bitcoin or how to invest in stablecoins. That is the questions I have gotten from outside. Nobody asks me how to invest in tokenization. They don't even know what that means for the most part. And nobody asks me, I mean, unless they're like tuned in a little bit. They don't generally ask about other specific assets. To be honest, they might ask about XRP. That's probably the only other one that they ask about because the XRP Army is so freaking loud on socials and everywhere. It's insane.
And you know what? It's absolutely true. Just think about how many people are discovering what XRP really is right now. The number of people waking up to XRP's potential is growing exponentially every single day. And here's the timing. They're learning about this right before everything changes, right before the new financial system goes live, right before XRP starts running on all those payment rails we've been talking about. The timing couldn't be more perfect. Look, I always tell people who aren't in crypto yet, you need to get invested now. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. If you don't invest now, you are absolutely 100% going to kick yourself over the coming months. This is your moment. Here's what's about to happen, and I want you to picture this. Everybody is going to be talking about crypto. It's going to be everywhere. You're driving in your car? Boom, crypto talk on the radio. You're sitting at home watching TV? The mainstream media is going to be non-stop coverage of this parabolic crypto run. You're at the coffee shop, the gym, the grocery store, crypto conversations everywhere. And here's the shift that's coming. People are going to stop obsessing over just Bitcoin. In the coming months, it's going to be all about altcoins. The conversation is completely changing, and we're positioned right at the center of it. This is going to be an absolutely insane time to be a crypto investor. And anybody sitting on the sidelines right now, watching and waiting, they're going to feel so much regret in the coming months, it's going to be painful. You know what else? Those people you've been trying to tell about crypto, the ones who wouldn't listen, they're not even going to want to look you in the eye after you start crushing it with your crypto gains. It's going to be that awkward, I should have listened moment, multiplied by 1,000. Another milestone in Bitcoin's institutional adoption. Morgan Stanley opens the door for wealth clients. That comes from Michael Saylor. And get this. They're not even talking about just Bitcoin here. They're talking about crypto as a whole. So, Morgan Stanley dropped this bombshell on Friday. They told their financial advisors that they're opening the floodgates. Crypto investments are now available to all clients. And here's the kicker. They can put it in any type of account, including retirement accounts. CNBC just broke this story, and it's absolutely massive. Starting October 15th, advisors can pitch crypto funds to literally any client. Before this, you needed to have aggressive risk tolerance and at least $1.5 million in assets just to get through the door. Now, everyone's invited to the party. They're using automated monitoring to make sure clients don't go too heavy into crypto, but the door is wide open. And here's what I need you to understand. This isn't just a Bitcoin story. This is going to benefit the entire crypto ecosystem. I want to be crystal clear about this because every time an article drops, people immediately think, oh, they're only talking about Bitcoin. No, Morgan Stanley and all these other institutions, they're looking way beyond just Bitcoin. They know their clients want different cryptocurrencies. Their clients are demanding variety, and these institutions are listening. This is phenomenal news because it shows they're all in now. They want to sell crypto to their clients. They want their clients making money. And yes, they want to make money too. It's a win-win-win situation. And let me tell you something about financial advisors. Any advisor not talking about crypto right now is going to seriously regret it. Why? Because their clients are going to jump ship. They're going to watch everyone else getting rich and then turn to their advisor and say, why didn't you tell me about crypto? Why didn't you advise me to get in? Look at this massive rally I missed. Now, they called crypto a volatile asset class. And you know what? I'm going to keep it real with you. That volatility is exactly what got you here. Whether you realize it or not, you probably got into crypto because someone told you, get into crypto if you want to make serious money. And how do you make serious money in crypto? From the volatility. That's the secret sauce. Here's what drives me crazy. Whenever somebody says, oh, they're not going to let all these crypto holders get rich, those people are completely wrong. Nobody cares if you get rich off your crypto. Think about it. Do you really think there's someone sitting in an office somewhere saying, we can't let this person get rich off XRP, but it's okay if that person gets rich off Bitcoin? Come on, that's not how any of this works. That's just retail traders arguing on X all day. In reality, nobody cares if you get rich. They're too busy trying to get rich themselves. So until this happens, and it will happen, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm wrapping up this video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate all of you more than you know. I'll see you in the next one. Have an absolutely fantastic night.